So far, I don't have the exact number of the casualties and the martyrs, but if we say there are more than 50, the one that were killed by the Nigerian army, I don't think I'm exaggerating. And we have more than 200 people that are now injured, majority of them carrying bullet wounds. That's really what happened. And after that, our brothers turned back to where they come from. Yet the soldiers follow them, shooting, as if they're in a battlefield. So we really don't know. The government is waging a war on the Shiite community. We want to know why. Why is the Nigerian army being used against its own citizens? The reasons after the killing on Saturday was we are going to ambush the Nigerian army and take their weapons. Okay, what is the reason today for the attack, for this shameful and cowardly attack? What is the reason? We want to know.
On the 30th of October 2018 at about 12:30 hours, operatives on stop and search duty along Tipa Garage, Katampe, intercepted and arrested one Mustafa Abdullahi, 20 years of Ungwangwari, Suleja, with 18 bottles of petrol bombs carefully concealed in a traveling bag. His intention was to smuggle himself and the petrol bombs into the city. He disguised as a passenger and boarded a taxi with other unsuspecting passengers. While assuring residents of the FCT of adequate security, I want to also bring to your knowledge that a total of about 400 members of the El-Edzaki Islamic sect of Nigeria who participated in the violent protests of today are currently being detained for discreet investigations. Dangerous weapons were also recovered from them. These are marked as exhibits. Also arrested among the suspects is their first aider, one Salahuddin Ahmad, 23 of Ilela, LGA, Sokoto State. The suspects will be arraigned in court as soon as investigation is concluded.
Welcome back. That's our focus today, the Army Police Shiite clash. And to help us understand what's going on here, we have a retired Colonel Yomi Dare, former Director of Army Legal Services. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Nesta, and I say good morning to Nigerians.
Okay, so this matter of the Army and the Shiites, what exactly is going on? Because it's not today.
Yes.
But this is like an escalation of what happened in Kaduna.
Yes.
Why should we be seeing this? Shouldn't we be seeing a settlement?
Well, first, I'd like to express my sympathy and sincere condolences to the people who have been affected by this crisis across the country. Okay? And what I'd like to say right now is that whether we like it or not, the military will continue to be deployed in domestic operations.
Why?
Except if there is a credible and effective alternative. Why am I saying this? Let's look at the example of the United States of America. In 1878, the then president of the United States, that's Rutherford Hayes, they enacted this law called Pos Comitatus Act Law. The essence of this law was or is to limit the powers of the federal government in calling out the military in domestic crises or operations within the United States of America. But this doesn't affect the National Guards, because the National Guard is under the Homeland Security. But of course, the National Guard also has what you call marine components, which means they can also operate on water. So we've been having crises here. And of course, the military has been involved. And thank God for the military. But one thing again is, whether you like it or not, there's what you call unintended consequences of military operations. Wherever the military operates, there must be some consequences, because it's going to be a wild spread. So if Nigerians do not want the military in domestic operations, then the parliament need to enact a law. And of course, they also must prefer credible alternative.
When you say credible alternative,
yes.
What do you mean? Where is the police in all of this? Is the police not a credible alternative?
Well, don't forget that the police, by the way, in Nigeria, do we have enough policemen to even police the nation? And apart from that, they are supposed to be entirely civil. Okay?
Again, then the question will now be, what's the role of the civil defense force? Because we have the police, we have the civil defense. Yes. These are supposed to be handling internal security in the country, right?
Yes.
So what's their role if they can't work with the police to ensure that the civil society is protected?
You see, there's one thing that is glaring in our situation. There's duplicity of governmental agencies. And sometimes it even yields to working at cross purposes. So there is need for us to really sit down and kind of refocus. There was a time in this country when the idea of the National Guard was muted. But somehow, I think it just, died.
Okay, but let's go back to the issue of the army and the Shiites. The fact that the army is being brought into domestic operations in Nigeria, is that the reason why the army is clashing with the Shiites, or the Islamic movement of Nigeria?
Well, don't forget that the clash is not just with the Shiite group alone. The army, as we speak, is almost having its hands full, because even in the southeast, the situation in the southeast, in the northeast, in the southwest. But talking about the Shiites in particular, I want to say here that I believe, from the information gathered, especially, you recall that the Shiite movement, they have been existing in Kaduna State and Zaria in particular. And people have been, lamenting on, what the hardship they've been going through, or the kind of harassment and intimidation. Because when they file out, their processions, they just move, and that's it. They paralyze activities. Okay. I think the height of it was sometimes in December 2015, when the convoy of the Chief of Army Staff was attacked. And that, the heaven was let loose.
So the convoy of the Chief of Army Staff was attacked?
Yes.
Did any soldier die then?
Well,
Not to the best of our knowledge, right?
Well, right now, yeah, I can't really say.
The army went back and attacked the Islamic movement of Nigeria